Hey guys, the focus that we're going to be honed in on people, I guess, not being as organized or not being as disciplined with their ready position. I see a lot of people out there worldwide. Maybe they're looking to see how pretty their ball is, maybe they're sleeping, but usually it's sending a message that says that they're not ready. And yes, this is a simple task, but I think it definitely, there's plenty of value, and there's something to be said when you can send a message, you know, when you're in a nice, alert, ready position versus somebody seeing you down here. So I like to use the term fake it till you make it a little bit, meaning, you know, maybe you're not ready at all, right? Maybe you're not ready at all, but at least you're sending a message by keeping your hands up that you are. Common tendencies are things that you see.
Yeah, I think when you're in a match and it's one of those that's a grinding, patient match where there's long dink rallies where people just become just expecting every time that their opponents are going to play a dink back, they tend to just get a little lazy with bringing their paddle back to ready position. It starts to stay down here. But the time that it takes, if you are attacked and surprised, to bring the paddle up and then to push out through the volley, you tend to get jammed. You only make contact here, this ball pops up and your opponents can take control. So like Tyson talked about, even if hand speed isn't your biggest thing, all the more reason to be up and make it look like, hey, if you bring it, all I have to do is just a little punch and I'm able to hit down at you. So fake it till you make it, even more so if this isn't an area that's a strength for you.
Yeah, if you find yourself hitting a volley like this, I guarantee that's a sign of your hands were down here sleeping and the ball came at your chest, and I guarantee the most natural way to hit a volley from here is to do this. So if you want to be Larry, who's doing this at the local courts, great. Or you could be Larry's brother, who is much more disciplined and he's got much better hands, but he's up in this nice 10 o'clock position. Okay, the first drill in the books here, Coach Kyle is going to be against a wall here. This is actually the same way that I learned how to volley. But the way that I learned how to volley when I was a kid playing tennis was my tennis coach actually used to serve at me and used to put a bunch of 12-year-olds on a fence and he'd serve at them, and basically it was a way for us to really shorten our volleys, keep things short and tight, but be super alert with our ready position. So I'm going to kind of show you like a modified version of that. Obviously we have plastic balls out here versus the heavy rubber tennis ball. So I'm going to have Coach Kyle against the fence here. He's going to be in a good 10 o'clock ready position. A key term is 10 o'clock. I would say lower levels, you know, I would start out by feeding slow. If this is easier, just have one ball, underhand feed, nice and easy. You're just moving the ball around, keeping this, you know, keeping this nice and light. Once you find that your student is getting a bit more comfortable, you can start feeding a little quicker or higher levels. If you want to use 2 or 3 balls, feel free, okay? So I'm just going to show real quick. Kyle, show us what not to do, or I guess have your hands down, okay? And let's see him fumble to try to hit a volley at his chest. Okay, watch this. Ball at his chest, okay? Versus the hands are up at 10 o'clock, okay? Look how simple that adjustment is compared to hands are down, okay? So you see how when his hands are up, he's having the same contact point, it's in the same location, everything's all very consistent. When his hands are down, that's when he finds himself, throwing his upper extremities, getting super loud up here. I like to use the term, if you had a beverage of choice in your non-dominant hand, and as you play, you should be keeping that beverage of choice there. Basically, it's all pertaining to keeping your upper extremities quiet. As you saw there, if Kyle's hands are down here, I guarantee he's throwing that IPA over his left shoulder. Why? Because he's fumbling, he's panicked, and he's simply just not ready. Okay, let's go a couple more here, Coach Kyle. Okay, ready here, short, and quick. Nice. I'm gonna make it tough for him. Nice, good. Okay, very nice and easy. Good. Okay. So I'm a teacher here. Here's my student. Teachers, if you get hit with this drill, know that your student has to buy you a beer. Okay, guys. Another drill here, geared towards ready position. We're gonna call this a cross-court tracking drill. I'm gonna have Coach Kyle over here on the left side. I'm on the left side as well. Dinking back and forth. Main focus here is following the ball and shifting and keeping the tip of the paddle facing at the ball, or keeping your body language facing at the activity. Okay, ready here. Facing at the ball. Again, same thing, facing at the ball. Same thing here, facing at the ball. Okay, facing at the ball. Same thing, facing at the ball. Beautiful, go in the middle, facing at the ball. Beautiful, good. Beautiful, good, very good. We'll go forehand side. So even though we are working on, tracking our paddle with the ball, we're still doing all the necessary things wrapped around that as well. We're still getting our feet in the correct position. We're buying ourselves enough time. We're recognizing when to push or lift. We're staying balanced, keeping our upper extremities nice and quiet. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so we're not focused on, or I guess we're not forgetting the general package of how to dink correctly, right?
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that I think about as far as ready position is I used to play baseball. So the analogy that makes a lot of sense for me is to sit on the fastball and adjust to the curveball, meaning every time I play a dink, I'm expecting my opponent, even if it's a good dink, I'm expecting them to come at me hard. If they don't and they just play a normal dink, I can always readdress, soften my hands and go back and dink. It would be like waiting on the curveball, but I'm always sitting or expecting that fastball because that's the one I need to be ready for.
Right. The quickest exchange when you are dinking is always going to be a volley exchange and not a dinking exchange, correct?
Sure.
Always be ready for the hard one. Okay, next exercise here, tracking back and forth, nice and easy. Okay, keeping the ready position, facing at the ball. Beautiful. Gosh, good. Again, a couple more here. Watching, and tracking. Beautiful. Okay, main thing is that the last thing I want to do is get pulled out of position, maybe dink back in the middle, and be looking to see how pretty my dink is, or dink back in the middle and be facing at the person in front of me, and that would give license to Kyle to speed up down the middle. So I get pulled out of position, I dink back in the middle, I'm facing the person that's in front of me, and Kyle can speed up there, okay? Obviously Kyle sees that I'm not ready, I'm facing at the person here, so I would say common tendency at lower levels is we see this person more so facing at the person down the line versus facing at the ball activity or facing at the person hitting the ball. So just, I guess, get your body facing the correct direction after that wide dink.
So there's a couple different elements that we're working with. One is to have the paddle up, but two is to make sure that our hips are faced towards the activity or where the ball is, right? So if this was something that was up the line, I'm not gonna be off-centering my hips because this is where the activity is. That's where I'll be straight. But the tendency that people have is when it's cross-court, they tend to still have their hips straight rather than being ready with that paddle up to go ahead and counterpunch if they're attacked.
If you're not alert, if your hands are not up, you tend to panic, you tend to flail your upper extremities, you're sending a message that you're not ready. When your hands up, obviously, you're much more efficient with your hand speed. You look ready. You can fake it till you make it a little bit, and you're just in a much better position to be able to fight off volleys in general.
Yeah, I think the first instinct, if people are trying to attack us, the best option, if we're in a good position, is to go ahead and counterpunch. But in order to counterpunch, we have to have that extension. So if we're already in a ready position, it's easy to get that extension time and time again. If the paddle's down, by the time it comes up, we don't have time to make contact and get that extension. Normally we're getting jammed. It's leading to pop-ups where our opponents can usually finish the next ball or the ball after that.
Yeah. Keep in mind that the quickest exchange out here is always going to be a volley exchange. You're always ready for the hard ball. A couple of the drills that we talked about, we had Coach Kyle against the wall here. He was in a very stationary position, very simple. Main focus was to have some sort of wall, fence, net behind you that doesn't allow you to take the paddle back so far, so it keeps things nice and tucked in. So that was our first drill. Second drill was simply dinking cross court, both forehand and backhand, but it was more so the idea of covering the middle, tracking your ball, moving with your ball, keeping your body language facing at the ball, and just staying in a much better position overall. Hey guys, I think there's a lot of people out there that like to have the ready position down by their hips. They like to be sleeping. They're obviously not ready. They're not alert. So we're going to show you a really fun game that has to do with some hand speed, that has to do with some volley exchanges that will force you to really keep those hands up, keep your hands alert.
Yeah, I think a lot of us love pickleball because it's high energy. Those fast exchanges they're a blast. It's why a lot of people play, but we got to remember that when we're sticking a volley, even if we hit it aggressively, we've got to bring our paddle back for ready position. The higher the level, the more the ball just comes back. So we always want to expect it to come back no matter what type of ball we're hitting, and make sure that we're coming back to the home base so that we're equally distributed between us getting to our forehand or our backhand, not cheating on one side or keeping the paddle down where we're just going to be late on the next ball.
Right, and our main phrase is that you should always be ready for the hard ball. Anytime you're dinking back and forth, always have the hands up and ready for a hard one.
Expect the fastball.
Yep, expect the fastball. Here we go. Okay, so game here, super fun. This will definitely get your blood pumping. We're gonna hit 4 volleys in a row. After our 4, then the point is live. Some of the fun bonuses here are if I'm in a volley exchange and I let a ball go long, I get 2 points. If we're in a volley exchange and Kyle blisters one and it gets on me quick and I end up with a plastic tattoo, he gets 2 points. Okay? The etiquette here probably isn't ideal, but we're gonna have some fun with it. We're gonna work on keeping the hands up, keeping the hands alert, and we're ready for the fastball. Here we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, live.
We're live.
Okay, here we go. And we're gonna alternate the feet because it would not.
And remember, semi-cooperative for the first few because we have to get to 4 before it's live.
Yeah,
All right, here we go.
1, 2. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're live. Yeah, no. Okay, very good. 1, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, live. Get over. Get ready here. Feet, go ahead, go ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty good.
All right, here we go. So what was it? 1, 3?
1, 3.
1, 3. Here we go.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, there.
Okay, let's go one more.
One more. Here we go. 3, 2. 3, 2.
2, 3, 4, live.
Oh,
That's good stuff.
Okay, guys, just to recap, so that's a fun game Tyson and I always do when we're training. It really helps us remember to come back to ready position when we're in that faster volley exchange. So just remember, we never want to look at our last ball that we hit so perfect and just expect that that's going to win the point right there and keep the paddle down. We want to get back to that starter position every time so that we can evenly go and alternate between forehands and backhands and stay on top of the ball rather than be late.
I think too, during this exercise, it's actually very difficult with your pride being high to be cooperative on those first 4 balls. So just know that like the first 4 is just kind of a drill to get the point started, and then you're playing the point out. As you can see in that last exercise too, there's so many times where maybe I didn't punch back, but I blocked back. It's all kind of based around if I'm comfortable. I think it kind of goes back to if I see the ball coming, then I'm punching back. If I can read it a little earlier, I'm going to punch back. If I don't see it, maybe it jams me, maybe it gets up high, maybe it gets on me quick, that's when I'm blocking back. So just focus on keeping the hands up, but also too, categorizing when to punch or when to block there.
And if you'll notice too, it should be pretty high intensity. Tyson and I are both breathing hard. We're doing a lot of side to side movement in order to create space to time and stick our volley as best we can. So just staying here with our shoulders straight, doing this isn't gonna get the job done. It's a lot of sliding and leaning and looking to maximize our leverage.